Hey everyone, I'm the Gaspless, and welcome to my review of Sally Face. Now, Sally Face is a 2D puzzle adventure game developed by the solo indie dev Steve Gabry, aka Portable Moose. It was originally released on the PC in 5 separate chapters, starting with the first releasing in 2016 and the final chapter releasing in 2019. The PlayStation and Xbox versions just came out on April 14th of this year. I personally played it myself on the Xbox Series X. Now, 2D puzzle adventure games are nothing really new for the indie scene. In fact, most indie developers usually start with some type of 2D style game. I watched a Let's Play of the first chapter years ago when it first came out, and I fell in love with the art style and the murder mystery type story that it had to tell. I had long forgotten about the game until I seen it pop up on the Xbox store and instantly bought it. Playing the first chapter, I was hit with a bit of nostalgia from watching it years ago and also falling in love with it all over again. But before I get ahead of myself, I do want to warn you that I will be giving some vague story spoilers, but all the gameplay shown will be from the first chapter only. The main location the game takes place in is the Addison Apartments, a 5-story apartment complex filled with strange and unique characters to interact with, like Charlie the Brony, and Mr. Addison, the recluse owner that gives out a mysterious tea to his guests through his mailbox hole. The protagonist, Sally Face, is a really cool character himself. He rocks blue pigtails with a mysterious face prosthetic from some unknown injury from his past. Let's talk about the story for a minute. First, I want to say that I loved it, but man, it just bounces from one crazy idea to the next with nothing of substance holding it together. It has moments where it plays with metaphors and can get really deep, but then it just says, fuck it, let's add ghosts, shadow people, and aliens to the mix. I can respect it, and I enjoyed it, but don't come into this expecting a dark and deep story because this ain't it, chief. Now, the biggest thing holding the game back for me is the gameplay. None of the puzzles are hard per se, but the game never does a good job of explaining what it wants you to do. I never really felt satisfied solving a puzzle. I was more often than not saying, okay, but why? Which is not a very fun experience to have. Towards chapters 4 and 5, they start to experiment with some different unique gameplay elements, but unfortunately none of them are really implemented very well. The game is a bit on the short side as well. I finished all 5 chapters in roughly 6 or so hours, but it might differ depending on how long it takes you to figure out the puzzles and where to go next and what the game actually wants you to do. When I replayed the chapters going for achievements and trying to get the 100% on all chapters, I found that each chapter could be completed in about 15 or 20 minutes or so. Speaking of the achievements, to all the other hunters out there, this one is a pretty quick and easy completion, although it can be a little annoying if you don't follow a guide. All in all, personally, I'm glad that I played Sally Face because it was a fun and unique experience. However, I can only really recommend it to people who enjoy 2D style indie games or achievement and trophy hunters who find the art style interesting. Unfortunately, Sally Face is a game that I think is better enjoyed by watching someone else play it on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys subscribe and turn on notifications to see more. Have a good one, guys.